There's no getting around it, the cost of living is increasing. So for most of us, that means unfortunately higher running costs from fuel. One answer is to go all electric, which for some may work, but as of right now, whether that be due to upfront cost of the actual car or infrastructure, it might not be suitable for everyone. So if you fancied upgrading your car to one of the latest models, how about shopping for one of the most economical as well, giving you more miles per tank of fuel? And that is exactly what we're going through today. Now, I've spent a good couple of hours going through every single engine that Mercedes-Benz make in the UK and paying close attention to all of the brochures with their WLTP stats. And I've found the top 3 petrol cars and the top 3 diesel cars. So before we jump into that, what does WLTP stand for? That stands for Worldwide Harmonised Light Vehicles Test Procedure, and is basically an independent test done on every single car, showing you the best MPG that they can achieve. Compared with NEDC tests years ago, NEDC tests did combined extra urban and urban tests, and to be honest, they weren't very realistic. So this is why on these tests, you had to kind of deduct about 10, 15, or even sometimes 20 mpg to show you what the car can actually do, which wasn't really fair. WLTP now is the new standard, and it shows you what the cars can achieve with all 4 wheels on the floor and what you and I can achieve in the car when driving. So with all of that in mind, let's start with the top 3 most economical petrol models. Now in 3rd place, it's no surprise that one of Mercedes-Benz's most aerodynamic production cars is here, which is the CLA Coupe and Shooting Brake. Yes, aerodynamics play a huge part in overall engine efficiency, so these cars with their 180 and 200 engines get an MPG figure of 45.6. Very nice. However, this is achieved, of course, by its aerodynamics, and its drag coefficient factor is 0.23, meaning it cuts through the air just like butter. And you genuinely notice it on the road. In fact, this car was based on the A-Class, which is one of Mercedes-Benz's best-selling models, but offering a more slopier, curvier look. Featuring that MBUX as its multimedia system with the very clever Hey Mercedes voice assistant, it's certainly one to consider. Up next in 2nd place is the Mercedes-Benz B-Class, and in a weird turn of events, despite it not looking as aerodynamic as a CLA, it beats it with a 46.3 mpg figure on its WLTP test. It also features in some models a thing called an Easy Pack tailgate, which is an electric boot, which is one up on the CLA Coupe for sure, but it does feature that kind of more spacious interior and also a raised driving position as well, so it's easier to get in and out. Also features the MBUX system as well, just like the CLA, so you've got that pretty cool Hey Mercedes, how can I help? Voice assistant. And then finally guys, in 1st place on the petrol engines is the Mercedes-Benz A-Class as the most economical. Now yes, I know this one here is the A45S, so this particular engine won't fall into that category, but the A180 and A200 variants with that 1.3 litre engine get that 47.9 mpg, making it the most economical petrol engine that you can buy currently. It's also available in a saloon, just in case you want to go for a slightly different body shape, but most importantly, it is one of Mercedes-Benz's best-selling models, probably because of that reason, to be honest. It first came out in summer 2018, where I actually got the opportunity to see it pretty much before anybody else, which I was super fortunate to do. And I think even then, I didn't even take into consideration how futuristic the interior looked with those double widescreen displays, which were taken straight from the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, which is one of the flagship models that Mercedes-Benz make. And in a weird turn of events, actually had more gadgets than that actual car, so the A-Class definitely was a trendsetter for years to come. So topping out at 47.9 mpg on petrol, how does diesel fare up? Well, let's have a look. Now in 3rd place on the diesels, it's the Mercedes-Benz B-Class. So yes, it's actually made the top 3 in the petrol engines and top 3 in the diesel engines as well. So this is the 2 litre diesel engine in the B-Class range, and it achieves a WLTP figure of 55.4 mpg, making it the top 3. Now some of you may be wondering, is a diesel still okay to use in 2022? Well, I'd like to cover that very quickly before moving on to the second place winner in the diesels. Now, diesel technology has come a long, long way from years and years ago. Most diesels now have this thing called AdBlue. Now, yes, these are both separate tanks, just to be clear. So diesel goes in diesel and AdBlue goes in the AdBlue section just here. Now, AdBlue is the name of the actual liquid as well that goes in, and it basically reacts with the exhaust system or some of the gases in it, removing nitrous oxide from the exhaust tailpipe. In terms of top-ups, if you do high mileage in a year, then you may need to top this up, but in most cases it should last to your service. And fun fact of the day, in some models of modern cars out there today, if you have AdBlue, it actually produces less nitrous oxide than a petrol engine. Well, the A-Class won the most efficient petrol engine out of any Mercedes-Benz you can buy with its 1.3 litre engine. When it comes to diesel, it actually comes in second place. Now, this is from its 2 litre diesel engine, and it produces 60.1 mpg, which is really, really good considering it's gone over that 60 mpg mark. Not many cars can do that on their WLTP tests. So, if that's second place, who's in first place? So then guys, in first place we have a car that can achieve 61.4 mpg on its WLTP test, which to be fair, just literally scrapes the margin on the A-Class, so they're really, really close to each other. But 61.4 mpg, the highest performing, most efficient Mercedes engine goes to the C-Class 2022 model, which is insane. That's a very, very high number for a WLTP test. Now, I have actually had the awesome opportunity to see this car last year. I went up to Mercedes-Benz World, had a little play on its multimedia system, which actually has a brand new multimedia system called, I think it's NTG7 it's called internally, but I like to call it MBUX version 2, so it's got a kind of portrait styled screen, new gadgets, specification, and of course, obviously those gadgets must extend to the engine as well, getting that high MPG figure. Now, if you want to check that out, I'll link it at the end of the video. Now, of course, sadly, due to the semiconductor shortage, I haven't actually seen a UK spec version of that car just yet. So I'm sure it's on its way. We'll just kind of have to watch this space. But when I do get my hands on one, I will cover a detailed video about that car and its multimedia system as well. So do watch this space. Keep an eye out on my channel. So when I do get my hands on one, I will cover it. But yes guys, there we have it. That concludes this week's video on the most efficient Mercedes models that you can buy. So if you want to know more about that C-Class, check out this video right here, because this one is going to take you straight to the video that I did last year where I had kind of like a first impressions of the C-Class. It was really, really cool to see, so well worth a watch. But again, huge shout out to Sandown Mercedes-Benz, as they provide access to all the cars you see, so it would be very difficult to do it without them. But thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.